Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Speakless and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just in the spirit of honesty, I didn't know if I wanted to make this video. One, as the kids say, this is stale tea at this point, and I feel like the situation is kind of on its way out of people's capacity of caring, because, you know, we're constantly on to the next thing in the land of YouTube and drama and makeup, whatever. And this is like a heated conversation, and people have been very heated about it. And originally, when this all happened, I was extremely heated about it and was planning to make a very heated video about it. But I think it's good that I waited, because I do want to talk about this, and I want to talk about this in a way that's articulated and calmer than maybe normal, and one that comes off in the way that I want it to come off. I haven't even said what we're talking about yet. Obviously, you've read the title. I'm going to be addressing all of the Kat Von D stuff. And I'm also going to, now that it's kind of happened, I'm going to try to bring a bigger picture out of it. And if I'm titling this what I think I'm going to title this at the time of filming, I want to talk about why it's important for us as consumers, YouTubers, makeup owners and wearers and lovers to call brand owners out when they do shit that we don't agree with. Why is that important? Because I think it's so easy to just like makeup and have that be it. That it's very surface level, that you just like the makeup that you like, you don't care who's making it, who's promoting it, who's creating it, whatever. It's not that deep. And I say the phrase "it's not that deep" so often on this channel. And normally when I'm saying it, I'm referring to things like bullying people over their makeup preferences. To me, that shit's not deep. It's goo you wipe on your face. However, when we get into a conversation about spending our money and who benefits when we do spend our money, that is a deep conversation, and that's one that we do need to talk about. So on the one hand, do I think it's necessary to maybe like shit talk people who you don't agree with because they have different preferences than you? No, not when it's like that level of surface level, but when it's deeper than that, and it's one, these big deal issues that do affect other people's lives, and two, when it's other people's money, when it's our money going into other people's pockets, then we need to raise the conversation to like, no wait, this does matter. And of course that extends beyond makeup, which I know is obvious. This is definitely a conversation on consumerism, capitalism, just in general. But what can we learn from the Kat Von D situation? So for anyone who's not filled in yet, which I don't know how you couldn't be at this point, Kat Von D, the artist, the makeup brand owner, the tattoo artist, former reality show star, posted, she's pregnant, she's recently married, pregnant with her first child, has been very open about all of it basically, and posted on her Instagram a picture of her baby bump with this super long narrative about people giving pregnant women unsolicited advice, which is very true. I've never known a mother who did not receive buttloads of unsolicited advice during their pregnancy, and I think a lot of people have said the same thing, that when you read the paragraph initially, you're kind of on board with her, because she's talking about like having a home water birth with a midwife, which when I'm raising my hand, I've talked with my partner about wanting something similar. Like she's talking about raising her kid vegan. Again, raising my hand here, because while I'm not vegan, I do not eat meat. It's very recent. I'm doing it more for health reasons than moral reasons, just to be transparent. But I have talked, again, me and my partner have had this conversation of like, what are we going to do with our kids? Because this is something that I kind of care about. Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of people are like, hell yeah, we're on board with this. And then she drops the bomb that she's not going to be vaccinating her child, and she's going to be raising her child without toxins and not vaccinating her child. And she kind of threw it in there so casually, when I think a lot of people, most people, I mean, I've heard definitely some people say they did not realize that this was an issue. They didn't realize that anti-vaxxers were a thing. I think most people, when they've read that sentence, I know myself included, my heart sank into like my feet. And I remember just saying over and over, this isn't good, this is not good, because Kat Von D is somebody with a huge voice that is potentially giving dangerous information out. And originally I was going to, you know, get on here and be all sassy and like rip Kat Von D a new one, because if anyone is confused, I'm very pro vaccinations. I spent a few years now earning my degree in physical anthropology, which I understand is not a medical science, but I will say, as per my background of where I can come from, because a lot of people were saying, you're a scientist, what do you think about this? I will say, me, Lacey, Speakless and Fat Hips, I just received my second bachelor's degree. My first one is in criminal justice. My second is in physical anthropology with a minor in geology. When you get a physical anthropology degree, at least me at my university, 80% of the courses that you take in a physical anthropology track are going to be the same classes that the pre-med kids have to take, because you have to understand osteology. And what osteology is the biology and mechanics of the human skeletal system. So you have to know the basic biology level stuff to the more advanced medical stuff, because you're working with humans and human bones. So most of my classes were with the pre-med kids, except for when we got into evolution and specific osteology and forensics in my case. So that's where I stand. So I'm not claiming to have a medical background. I'm just saying I did spend years of my life basically receiving that information as part of the degree that I have. So I've known all about vaccines for a while, even back to when I was a criminal justice major. I took a class taught by an evolutionary psychologist. It was one of the best classes I ever took. It was a class basically about fear, and it was all these theories about fear. And it was from the basic of basics to like, why are we afraid of the dark, to the big stuff like cultural fears, and it stemmed into the anti-vax movement, because that is a social movement. And so I've had this information. I've been lucky enough to have the information at my disposal, what I'm considering accurate and trustworthy information. So that being said, I was going to get on camera guns a-blazing with facts and with references and just like spew truth bombs at you. I will say somebody has beaten me to it and has done a very good job creating a video from the perspective of a student doctor with virtually everything that I was going to include in my video. So I'm going to put probably like just a screenshot of her video right here with a link down below, because she does a very good job delivering the information calmly and fairly in a way that I think a lot of people could consume, whereas I understand that I come off a little harsh, and I know a lot of people sign up for that reason, but I think for something like this kind of topic, the way she explains information is very truthful. She cites her sources, which is exactly what I was planning on doing. Her video is exactly what I would have created had this video been filmed 2 weeks ago, or however long since this all drama started. So whether or not you understand vaccines or not, I am just going to leave that video there, and I'm going to encourage you to do your own research. And when I say by do your own research, I'm not talking about mommy blogs, I'm not talking about Netflix documentaries, and I'm not talking about anecdotal stories. And what I mean by anecdotal stories is people saying, well, this was my experience, so therefore I am law. That's not how good science works. So, and even jumping forward, Kat Von D has since come out with another statement saying that her and her husband are not anti-vaxxers, which really, it's hard for me to accept her saying that, because the day that she was receiving all the heat from her fans concerning the whole vaccination thing, her husband was posting screenshots of some anti-vaccination documentaries that I can say with my whole heart and soul are not good science, are not truthful. It's very cherry-picked information. They're carefully taking information that's going to push their narrative, and they're not looking at a greater picture. And specifically, one of those documentaries that was cited by her husband was created by someone who eventually lost their medical license for promoting unsafe and untrustworthy anti-vaccination information, linking it to autism, which has since been disproven. So, like I said, the video that I'm linking below touches on all this, and it does a very good job touching on all this. So I encourage you, if you still have questions about all this, to watch it, because I think a lot of the problem is a lot of people were saying like, fuck you, have fun killing babies, and that doesn't do anything to help educate people who genuinely don't understand. So yeah, that's where I stand on this, and I really would appreciate if you have your vaccination opinions like look at the greater picture here, because there's a bigger picture to why I'm making this video. Because Kat Von D has since said, you know, she's not an anti-vaxxer, she's just a new parent. She heard some information that freaked her out, which is so, I mean, it's not ironic, because when she said that, I showed it to my partner Matt, and I've been with my partner for 8 years, and I had said that exact phrase to him like well before when we had taken this class together that I referenced earlier. I said, like, I can perfectly understand being a first-time parent and hearing information that scares you and like panicking and like assuming the worst and like, oh my god, like I can fully understand that. My problem with this, and the reason why I'm making this a larger issue video right now, is because Kat Von D's response is basically to be like, in so many words, like, well, fuck you, we're gonna do what we want, which is all fine and dandy. But she's saying fuck you to people who are financially allowing her to live the life that she's living. So, one of the criticisms for her beyond this whole situation was she wasn't listening to the people who were trying to correct her. A lot of people were saying like, well, actually you're not understanding this information correctly. I'm speaking to you as a scientist, as a nurse, as a doctor, as a student. Like, this is the correct information and where I can find it. And those messages were getting deleted along with the very kind of nasty ones that, like, yeah, it's funny when people are like, oh, use code polio at checkout, but like, there were genuine good comments in her Instagram post and on her Twitter that were genuinely trying to help educate people, and those were getting deleted too. And then, like I said with her apology, she basically was like, we're living our lives this way, fuck you guys for disagreeing. This is something that Peter Maughan had brought up, which I think is very important to bring up. She basically is people have fuck you attitudes towards other people. I've definitely on this channel said before, like, someone told me I should give my hat a rest, and I was like, well, fuck you, I like this hat. Like, a lot of people have like, fuck you, I'm gonna live my life the way I want attitudes. The problem is, it wasn't like a minority small group of people that were voicing concerns to Kat Von D. It was the majority of her audience, I would say, honestly. Honestly, most people were like, you need to correct this information, it's dangerous, you can hurt other people, you're saying that you're doing your research, it doesn't seem like you are, like, this is what you need to look into. And whether or not it was about vaccinations or not, let's say it was about anything else, for her to say anything that her audience is vastly majority-wise disagreeing with and upset with, and to come out with a statement that's like, cool, I hear you, but really, fuck you, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Let me see if I can pull up her actual statement. I don't know, that's the thing. Her first post, not so much her her apology, I'm gonna use that word loosely. Her first post was basically like, if you don't like it, fuck off, blah blah blah. Her next one, you know, our medical records are no one's business. That is very true. Unless you want to harass us, blah, blah, blah. This is my thing. And this is, again, the full point of this video. Kat Von D, for the whole situation, stuck her fingers in her ears and went, la la la, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. Which a lot of people will argue she has that right, it's her child, her baby, whatever. I'm going to argue the perspective that it's harmful information that can harm other people because it is a public health issue. And again, if you're confused as to why I'm saying that, please check out the video below. It does a much better job explaining the whole topic better than I could. So one, there's that, and two, who is she telling to fuck off in that instance? She's telling the people who literally have paid for her to live the lifestyle that she lives to fuck off. She's telling her fans and her supporters to fuck off. Because it wasn't people who hated her rushing to her page to spew, to like piss all over her and like, you know, send hateful things. It was people who loved her and had bought all of her products and supported her who were like very disappointed with what she had said, that were, you know, voicing their concerns on the matter. That's who she was telling to fuck off. She just had the most lavish gothic dream wedding, and how did she pay for that? She paid for that because I've bought her palettes and her lipsticks. You guys have bought her products. Other people have bought her products. You've supported her when she was a reality star. You support her artwork now. You're going to support her vegan shoe line. You buy her brand. You buy her, basically. Kat Von D is, like, so very much the face of her brand. It's not like she's the CEO of a brand and we see her every once in a while and we're aware that she owns the brand, but she's not. The brand is called Kat Von D Beauty. Every single product has her artwork, is her design. Her lipsticks are named after things that are important to her, people that are important to her. The 20th anniversary palette was all named after people who inspire her. The brand is vegan because she's vegan and she's promoting a vegan lifestyle. Like, her brand is very much like the essence of her. And I think to really enjoy her products, you also have to definitely enjoy her, because you're basically buying a reflection of her lifestyle and who she is as a person. And that's why I think it's a little silly for her not to have a PR person around her to be like, hey, not only does your livelihood depend on the things you say, but a lot of other people's livelihoods depend on the things you say, because you're selling yourself and you sell your products. So, like, that's not, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people pointed out that for her to even raise her child vegan and vaccine free is definitely a privilege, because it's going to require money and privacy to do those things. And she has that money and that privacy and that luxury because we give it to her. We award it to her when we choose to financially buy her products and support her on her YouTube channels and things like that. I know personally, for the last 7 months and the 50 some odd videos, 60 some odd videos that I've made on this channel, I've probably had a Kat Von D product on in every single one of those videos. And I've done, you know, videos solely dedicated to her products, and like, therefore I'm responsible for some of her money. You guys are responsible for some of her money. If you've ever bought even one product, if you've ever recommended a product, like, that's who she's telling fuck off. And she's telling, like, that's, you know what you see what I'm getting at? Like, she's telling her direct fan base to fuck off in this situation. And that doesn't sit well with me. And it's one thing, like, a lot of people hate Lime Crime because of the owner Doe Deer and her whole dressing up like Hitler fiasco and like some other shit that the brand's done. After all that stuff kind of happened and it affected the brand negatively, like they got dropped from Sephora almost instantly and things like that, Doe Deer like was taken very much so out of the limelight and very much away from the face of the brand, from being the face of the brand. And now the brand has been bought by another company, and I believe she's stepping down altogether as CEO, and she'll still be involved with the company but not as the CEO. So that's a huge difference. I mean, you could argue that it's not, and you have the right to do that, because like I said, a lot of people hate Lime Crime. That's very different than Kat Von D Beauty. And I think it's the same reason why a lot of people can't let Jeffree Star go and his cosmetics go, because it's Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Like, it's very different than, like, other owners of makeup brands, but it's not so deeply tied to their identity. The makeup's not that deeply tied to who they are. Kat Von D Beauty is. It's very hard to separate the two things from each other. I feel like it's virtually impossible to actually separate her makeup from her as a person. Plus, with all of the other stuff, with that stuff that happened, the anti-vax whatever, the bullshit apology, which I'm sorry, I'm not convinced it wasn't Sephora or Kendo or whoever stepping in and being like, you gotta fix this. Because if you've seen the backlash on Kat Von D Beauty's Instagram page, whew, I'm interested to see the future of their company, honestly and truthfully. So, but, you know, minus that, with any scandal that's gonna happen, everything else that ever has been done by that person is gonna come up, and there's definitely some stuff that's come up from Kat Von D that I didn't know about, and that really makes me feel sick. Not only does this like anti-vax stuff make me feel sick, but a lot of anti-Semitic stuff has come up that really I didn't know about. And I know a lot of people were like, how could you not know about it? But I truthfully didn't. The extent of my knowledge, I know that she dated that dude, Jesse James, who was married to Sandra Bullock, who was like a known Nazi fetishizer. I don't know if that's a word. He like collected Nazi stuff and like was seen doing the Nazi salute and photos and dating other girls that were like dressed in like Nazi costumes, and like, and I knew that, and I kind of let that go because, like, God help me if you guys held me against anyone that I've dated in the past, because you would not like me if you held me to the standards of some people I've dated in the past. But then some stuff came up when she was still in LA Inc. There's supposedly an autograph that had some anti-Semitic comments on it that she gave to her boss who was Jewish, and she claims that it was a forgery. I don't know. And even beyond that, so beyond even those two instances, it was brought to my attention that the original name for the lipstick Mother, her liquid lipsticks, which was my favorite formula of lipsticks, was originally named after Nazi terminology. And I've racked my brain and I've racked my computer trying to find any explanation that I could to justify why this lipstick might have originally been named what it was named. And originally I was like, did someone make this up? But apparently the original images of the lipstick swatches are still on her Twitter. I will try to link them down below. It's not fake. She really did name this lipstick that and then had to change the name. And I really feel like, how did I not know about this? And how did nobody talk about this? I don't understand. And I can't let that go. It really upsets me. And I don't feel comfortable supporting her brand anymore, and I'm not going to. And you guys know how much I loved her brand. Maybe not so much her. Like, yeah, she was cool. I did think she was cool. So I'm not like greatly devastated that I've lost a hero. That's not this at all. I definitely liked her makeup though. And I always talked about specifically her liquid lipsticks. Like my channel name is Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. Like a lot of my spooky lips were her lipsticks. I had them out like ready to go separate from all my other liquid lipsticks because I love them so much. I loved her palette so much. And I just like immediately had to put all of her stuff away. I'm not getting rid of it per se. I'm going to pan what I can, keep the things I like, maybe declutter the things that I wasn't that crazy about anyway, because it means less to me now. Like, even I was going to review her 20th anniversary palette and highlighter, which I did kind of touch on in another video because I had promised those reviews, and I had said in that video my honest to God reviews of those products were going to be that I had just bought them because they were Kat Von D Beauty. And now, given this situation, if you retract those things, now those objects have no meaning to me. So I like the Pastel Goth palette. I like the Saint Center palette a lot. I liked some of her lip colors a lot, the lip liners. I'll maybe keep using those off camera. I just panned her Locket powder. I'm trying to pan her foundation. I probably won't do it on camera anymore. And I don't know at this time what could help me change that. I don't know if her coming out with a really heartfelt apology that was like if her addressing her past and her addressing the issue currently that we're talking about, the anti-vaxxing, and being like, this is all, like, I don't actually know in this situation what could happen for me to change my mind. I don't feel comfortable supporting her. If you still want to, if it's not that big a deal to you, if all of this doesn't mean anything to you, then do what you want. I'm never on this channel going to tell you who you should or should not support. I'm making this video because people had specifically asked me for what I thought about it, and I think it's fair to you guys, given, like I said, how much I have supported her brand in the past, for me to get on camera and explain to you why I'm not going to anymore. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I really, beyond her apology, let's say that it was a great apology and I could accept it. It doesn't sit well with me that right off the bat she was telling the people that supported her and loved her and allowed her to live the lifestyle that she has to fuck off, and that she doesn't care what they think, because she should. If you're earning money off of my dime and off anybody else's dime, you should care what we think. And it doesn't sit well with me, some of the things that I found out about her past. There's also a lot of hearsay, I will say. There's a lot of people being like, well, her and her husband are Satanists, and blah, blah, like, blah, blah, blah. I don't want, like, shut up. But the lipstick thing especially, if nothing else, I can't, that makes me feel actually sick to my stomach. No. And I'm not, and I haven't even, like, I said I'm not going to wear her makeup on camera. I haven't even been wearing it off camera because, like, it just makes me feel kind of icky. And I'm like, somebody else had said this to me, but I'm, like, worried that if people ask me, like, oh, what lip color is that? What eyeshadow was that? I would have to then say that it was Kat Von D, and, like, I would just feel gross. Like, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get over it and use it quietly up in the future. If you ever see, like, in my description box that I'm using, like, probably her foundation, know that it's probably me just trying to use it up. But I don't know if I will. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I really hope, I always encourage you guys to talk to me down below. If you do, I encourage you to please keep it civil. And remember that the point I'm trying to make is like, the point why I'm getting on camera and saying I'm not going to support her anymore is for the bigger picture, because it's important. If we're the ones putting these people on pedestals, we're the ones supporting these people, we're the ones allowing these people to live these lives, to have these luxuries, to have these privileges, we can also take that away if they don't deserve it anymore. So that's really the bigger picture here, and that's where I stand with it. So if you're going to chat with me down below, which I always encourage you to do, just be respectful. Check out anything that I might link down below if it helps you better understand maybe my perspective or other people's perspectives. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys.